What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Umso podcast. We are still in quarantine. Yep, we're still doing this whole thing. So I put out a Q&A and want to do something different. I guess I wanted to see what advice is it that you guys would look for instead of asking questions about me, but maybe I can help answer some questions for you. So got a bunch of questions, and hopefully this is useful and helpful for everyone. Also, if you want to head over to YouTube, I am starting to do some video recording of the podcast to see if you guys are interested. I've been asked a lot about it, so we're trying. We're going to see how that plays out. So here we go. We got some sponsors, as we typically do. I want to thank you guys for listening. Please head over and check out our sponsors. We have Eat Right Foods. So recently, Bonnie and I, during this quarantine process, have been getting food delivered to us, and one of the companies that we are working with is Eat Right Foods. Really, really like the stuff. The food's really good, and we're getting some pretty consistent stuff like steak with veggies, and we're also getting some fish and rice and the type of meals that we're looking for. Bonnie's meals are typically a protein and like a sweet potato fry, and mine have been protein and veggies and protein and mostly protein. Even they're sending like just some bulk meat. So if you use code UMSO at Eat Right Foods right now, you'll save 10% off your order. So that means they're already free shipping to anywhere on the East Coast. But if you're anywhere else in the country, it's a $25 flat rate and you save 10%. So you're looking at $115 anywhere in the country, 10 meals. You get 10 meals delivered for $115. It's pretty good. And the really way that we use this, we still cook a lot. We still eat a lot of the Stay Classy meat stuff. But there's plenty of meals that we're just lazy about because we're busy or not home all day or any of these other type of things. And so this allows us to have a better option for those meals. And the meals are really, really fucking good. We eat them as normal meals too a lot of times. So we also, speaking of meals, is Hybrid Performance Method. So I've been working with these guys now for quite some time. And I've been really happy with how consistent they've helped me stay with my diet and how my body's overall feeling with it. I've been kind of running a maintenance lately as I'm doing more endurance style training, and that's been the focus. And we're not really worried about body composition right now as much as fueling these training sessions. So like today got up this morning and fasted. Oh God, I'm so loud. And fasted, did a 7-mile ruck. So really, really happy with how that felt. Got my bag and I slapped a 25-pound plate in it and gave it hell. But Hybrid offers great nutrition coaching. It's $120 a month. And if you use code UMSO, you save 5% off of every single month that you are subscribed. They will pair you up with one of their coaches. And they have about 30 different training programs that all run about $1 a day or $30 a month, and you can save on those as well. So no matter what you're trying to accomplish, they probably have a training program for you, whether it's powerlifting, weightlifting, bodybuilding, or HIIT training, or CrossFit, or endurance. They've got something for you. So head over to Hybrid Performance Method, check those guys out, and give them some support as they're awesome and keep doing great things to push the industry forward. We also have Mind Bullet. So Mind Bullet has been a new sponsor of mine. I've been using Kratom products and similar stuff now for quite some time, and I really like the effects that it's had. It's taken me a while to figure out what I like and what product is really good, but Mind Bullet's been great, and it really works well for me as a pain reliever / focus and kind of a pre-workout style thing. So all the things that you'd want out of a pre-workout, like it does a pretty good job of setting that up for you. Who else we got? Use code UMSO and Mind Bullet and save 20% right now. 20% on Kratom. Check it out and feel better. I think it's cool that more companies are getting their shit together and putting out some more natural products. I'm really big fan of plants. I've been a really big fan of CBD. As you'll be seeing during the podcast, I will be enjoying a rolled joint from RDSP Farms. Their CBD has been really great. There's no THC in it, and so it's been really, really nice as I find smoking CBD to be the absolute best way for it to get into my system, and I noticed the biggest difference from it of how I feel and how I can down-regulate and start letting my body feel a little bit better. So, mindbullet.com, use code UMSO, save 20%. Now, I know the checkout process at Mindbullet is a little weird, just due to whatever federal regulations still operate with Kratom, but they use an e-check system. This is secure. These are good people. This is Mark and Chris Bell. They're running the company. They're not trying to rip you off. This isn't just some overseas bullshit night job. I don't operate with companies that I don't know the owners personally. So check out mindbullet.com. Use code UMSO. Save yourself money. Finally, we have Hate Brand Goods and Habit Coffee. So right now, these two things are working together. So I'm going to pick another winner Friday, which is the day you already missed it. Today's Tuesday that you're listening to this. I'm talking to the future. So last week, we're picking a winner every single Friday during the month of May to receive 3 months worth of coffee from Habit. One winner will be picked. So there's 5 winners overall in May. One winner is going to get a free year of coffee. And all you have to do is order anything from Hate Brand Goods and you're automatically entered. So spend $1, get an entry. More entries, the better. Get a chance to win a year for like a year or 3 months worth of coffee from us. So, and if not, head over to Your New Habit, use code UMSO, and scoop up some coffee. It's really good. We have two kinds. We have snake oil is they're kind of our lighter Ethiopian roast we're really proud of, and we've got our Guatemalan, which is a little darker and more full bodied. So new stuff on Hate as well. Thursday we released brand new everyday joggers. We restocked our green ones, restocked the black ones, and we've restocked our black multicam goat shorts. So anyone looking for training shorts or joggers or anything like that, these are the best ones ever made. Prove me wrong. Anyway, I think we have one more sponsor. It's Powerdot. I know that I've talked a lot about this. It's a great tool, and it's my favorite. For an electronic muscle stim, a smart device that has minimal wires, minimal pain in the ass. The battery life is fantastic. It really does help me with pain tolerance and recovery. Especially now I'm doing more of this hiking endurance type stuff. My legs and hips and low back are a little bit more beat up as I'm an old busted man with busted parts. And I'm happy with the way where the Powerdot has really helped me. So it tracks everything. It really does make a big difference. If you head over to powerdot.com, use code UMSO and save 15% on getting yourself one of these, either a single or a duo. Both are great options. A lot of times I just run one and use the TINS feature that it has to eliminate some pain around my knee, or using it to kind of warm things up with my quad and get some blood moving if my legs are super stiff from whatever I did the night before, or your shoulders or back or any of those type of things. So head over to powerdot.com, use code UMSO, and save 15%. Whew. Let's go ahead and get into these questions. I try to give you guys a little bit more in-depth answers. First, Tina 433, gravel bike suggestions for a woman. Well, I'd make the same suggestions I would make for a man. It's a bicycle. You don't have a different body that really requires a lady's bike as far as parts go. Now, there's some different geometry, and they don't. So check out Live, which is Giant's version of their female side, I guess, if you will. Some different colors, a little bit different geometry, stuff like that. They've got some great gravel bikes. It really depends on, so bikes is tricky. When people ask like, hey man, what do you suggest for a bike? Well, there's other fucking questions that follow up. It's not like I'm just going to say Trek. Like my answer is, what type of riding are you wanting to do? What budget do you have? And then go from there. And if you don't know anything about bikes and you're not educated about it, go to a bike shop. Talk to those people. I did that for a long time. They're good folks who want to help you get on bikes. Forgive a little bit of snobbery they may have, but that's just because they're pumped on it. And, they know a ton and don't understand why you're a newbie and aren't already stoked on it as they are. But they're happy to help. So go to a bike shop, and that's my response for any type of bike questions regarding what type of bike should I buy is figure out what type of riding you want to do or is in your area, or what type of riding you're going to be doing. the most of, then figure out your budget, and then go talk to a bike shop. And they can help you make sure you get the right size, most bang for your buck. Maybe they've got a little bit older model. That's really the route I would go. So, hope that helps you out, Tina. Nick Merv, watches. Buying your first hand high-end like your Panerai. Yes, I've recently bought myself a nice watch. I've wanted it for a really long time, and I'm very, very happy with it. I think it's one of those things, man. It's not a need by any stretch, right? Like, I don't think I can pretend that I needed this watch. This watch was very much I've wanted it for a long time. I've worked very, very hard to have enough, let's call it disposable income, to be able to purchase it. And I did. I didn't bend myself over a barrel. But at the same time, there was something I heard about watches a while back that I really liked the mindset of, and it does fit with how I feel. So part of that is, I think at some point, buying a nice watch is a good move. They hold value typically if you buy nice stuff, and spend enough money on it that it's painful but not stupid. And that's a reminder that as you've earned that money, that your fucking time is valuable. Be aware of what your time costs, and be aware of how you use it, and don't just give it away, and don't pretend it's not valuable. It's honestly the only commodity that we have we can't purchase more of. And so treat your time respected that way. And so if you're going to be doing something, realize that means you're not doing something else. So that's my first watch, my first nice watch. I really don't have my eye on anything else. I'm not a big Rolex fan. Maybe a Bell & Ross. I dig some of their stuff. Yeah, outside of that, I'd probably buy another Panerai. Probably something different. So, Dr. Steph Performance, advice on creating a kick-ass adventure. Ooh-wee. Okay, give you an example. So our adventure this year, as if it goes planned, we're trying to drive our way up to Alaska. And with that, we're looking at, where do we want to have major stops, and what do we want to try to accomplish? Plus, we're going to be filming some stuff. All those type of things. So, doing like 100 things. So, figure out what you want to accomplish and what direction you want to go, and then you can kind of figure out like what time of year. Now, this is a big adventure, right? This is going to be something that we're going to be on the road for probably between 6 and 8 weeks to really do. We've got time to make adventures like that. Shorter, smaller adventures can be super kick-ass. Like, we've been doing these overnight things out into Mark Twain National Forest, and they've been fucking awesome. We get a chance to camp. We get a chance to fuck off, be in the woods. It gets quiet. We get away from our phones. We get a chance to kind of just be with the two of us, which is nice. When it's not busy and we're working. We're home all day, but we're also, not home all day, but we both work from the house. So we see a lot of each other, but having time to actually just kind of connect away from daily routine is really, really good for us. So you can make pretty cool adventures just, on a short thing. Just plan and go try something. Part of an adventure is not knowing what the outcome's going to be. So, do a road trip. Road trips are fucking great. They're my favorite. See what's in your area as far as a decent hike, something maybe 8 to 10 miles long that you can still knock out in a day and get back home. All those type of things. Something that's going to challenge you a little bit and put you into a situation you're not familiar with. Like, that's basically what adventure is to me, plus being outside. That's kind of what I think. Joe Schneeman from Mountain Bike. Do you clip in or go clipless? That's a weird way to say it. So, clipless pedals, as I'm going to correct you for, and I'm going to be a mountain bike, a biking prick here. Clips are what they called like the toe cages that used to go around the front of your shoes, and you would clip into those. So when you started having shoes that clipped in to bikes, it's actually called clipless because there isn't a clip on the front of the pedal. So I ride clipless, which means I do ride shoes that attach to my pedals. I do ride that on my mountain bike. If I was doing anything more aggressive, like more of a downhill or free ridey type of stuff with any kind of drops or jumps or anything, like, I would be in flats. and ride some better pedals. But since I'm mostly staying on the ground and trying to go fast, since I can't afford to really crash too hard and get hurt, this is what I'm doing. So see if that gives your answer. I like it. I get more control. I've ridden clipless a long time, and I like the way it feels. Thanicus, what's up, dude? You're back. At what point did you decide it was time to put your nose to the grindstone and focus on business? Well, there wasn't ever a stretch that, like, I wasn't. It wasn't like there was this point of just like, well, we'll fuck around and do this and not give a shit. Like, I mean, the goal of it was to make progress and succeed the whole time. And so it's been a lot of work, and it's been really good. I would say things definitely made a shift in 2017 when I got fired from my regular civilian job. That was definitely a shift to, all right, this is what we're going to try to do for a living. Let's be smarter about it and try to make some smart decisions business-wise. And I would say from 2017 till the end of 2018, it took us that long to really get it rolling the way I'd like it. I feel pretty good about it, but there's always stuff that we can fix and make better. It just takes time. Like, if you're going to half-ass something, like, don't bother. Like, but I understand that there's different gears, but that doesn't mean you weren't really giving a shit. Like, I was giving a shit, but then I had to give a shit. Like, there's a difference. Joshua C. How to lose weight because I'm stupid and fat right now. You are fucking dumb because you're asking that question. So let me help you out, Joshua. Eat fucking less calories than you burn. That's it. That's how you lose fucking weight. That's the only answer. You consume less calories than you're burning on a daily basis. The only way to do it. Or you can burn more calories than you consume. I don't care how you fucking say it, but that's it. There isn't some goddamn pill. There's not some secret diet. There's not some combination of foods. Look, there are better options and worse options. So what I would recommend is A, eating only foods that you can fucking identify as a single ingredient. Start there. Like, I'm aware that is cow. Eat it. That is a Brussels sprout. Like, no one got fucking fat because they ate too many Brussels sprouts. No one got fucking fat because they had too much white rice in their diet that wasn't covered in bullshit. So, be smart. Eat single ingredient foods and fucking start tracking, man. Use MyFitnessPal, or be an adult like I am and get yourself a goddamn coach if you need something to keep you on better track, to give you more information. So check out Hybrid Performance Method and see what those guys are doing. Use code UMSO and save money with getting thinner. There you go. I can't fix the stupid part though, Josh. Maybe just educate yourself. Fucking take some accountability. Marion Roberts 93. Can you achieve hypertrophy through kettlebell training? Yeah, of course you can. It's simply just catching a pump in the muscle. Like, I mean, you can, depending on what type of kettlebell movement, you can basically fucking do anything. You could do goblet squats, you could do swings, you can do presses overhead. Yeah, of course you can. I don't even fucking know how I would dive further into that question. Yes, you can. I would say it's way harder to do, more maximal training with a kettlebell since the weights really aren't there. I mean, even at the most, they have a 200-pound kettlebell, but if I can get that to the goblet position, it's not going to be terribly hard for me to front squat. It may be hard for me to keep it in a good position to front squat it, but it's not heavy on the legs. So, I mean, that's kind of what you're doing with kettlebell training anyway. It's like a HIIT style training. And if you want to lower the weight and do more reps and get some hypertrophy work, then do that. Yeah, nothing's stopping you. Magic Unicorn. Do you wear a GPS smartwatch? If so, what recommendations? I do. The watch that I wear on a semi-normal basis, or like if I'm doing things, is a Garmin Phoenix 5X. I've been super, super happy with it. I've been really, really happy with that watch, and really, really like the way that it has kept it together for me. So Next set of questions. Fomorian. That's a fun name. Does lighter equal healthier for you? Or could you have been just as healthy at throwing weight? That's interesting. Lighter equals healthier for me because I'm not eating like a dumpster fire. Now, I'm very aware that the way I ate and took care of nutrition while I was competing aren't the best way that I could have. I could have done a better job with that. I didn't need to be as fat, but I did need to have a certain amount of weight on me. And I think eventually I could have changed body composition enough to stay 265, 275. I think 285 would have been really tough for me to be anywhere what I would call healthy. And look, healthy is relative. I wasn't unhealthy. Like, I didn't feel bad. I moved well. My blood measurements were all really good other than having low testosterone. So, I mean, you can definitely be bigger and be healthy, but there's still a point where you're still stressing the heart out, right? Because you're running a bigger machine. It's got to pump more to get through the rest of you. So, I mean, things I always look at are like, I mean, there's not a lot of 400-pound 50-year-olds. And me at my height, at being 6 foot, being over 300 pounds, it's probably not the best idea for a really long term. Mentorship crowd. Interesting. Oh, your content's awesome. Blip. Fuck off. Here the bricks, loser. God, the fucking companies that reach out like that. Fuck yourself. Also, go fuck yourself. Kelly Burnett 1407. I don't know what to make of your comment. Show us all the clothes, all the fun stuff, all of everything. I don't know what any of that means, so I'm not gonna bother. Levi Swang, budget for travel. I don't put one together. I mean, I have a loose idea of where I want to go and what that trip should cost. But, I mean, I sleep a lot in national parks and I eat from food that we brought with us and we go to the grocery store and we cook. So, like, you can make travel a lot more affordable. Airplanes and shit like that get expensive, but that's one of the reasons I like road trips is because, like, if you're flying somewhere, it's exponentially more expensive for every person you bring. But if each person costs exactly the same. But if we drive, one person versus three is damn near the same cost because it's all in one vehicle. So, I mean, there's ways to save money on it. I don't put down I'm only allowed to spend this much per day. I don't operate that way with money, and I never have. Look, if you've got enough that it pays your bills and you've got some stuff saved up for safety if shit goes south, like, that's what money's for. It can only be exchanged for goods and services, so I may as well exchange it for really, really rad life experiences. Corey Pillow. Where to find bike jerseys for larger individuals. So I've purchased jerseys from both Cadence bicycles, they fit well, and just Amazon. Just their random Chinese-made jerseys on Amazon. They fit me fine. I'm 6 foot, 240. Just order the biggest one you can. Usually double XL. I'm a large XL t-shirt, but I'm a double XL in anything cycling. Also garbage. A bunch of these. Your content's awesome. Great page. Cash emoji. Fucking Christ. How to fight them junk food cravings. Chris Pablo King. I don't have an answer for you, Chris. That is not my strong suit, is fighting junk food cravings. I haven't told anyone this, but I spent a lot of money on cookies during this whole thing. Luckily, I'm riding a ton. I'm staying super active, so I'm not super gross. Oof. But I've eaten some shit. I've gotten a bit too stoned a lot of times during this whole quarantine, and that lends to the hunger shark circling and me diving into feeding them. So trying to be better about that and not order fucking mountains of cookies. So, I don't have an answer. Drink a shit ton of water and try to go to sleep. Fine. One better option for junk food I have found is honestly like Enlightenment or Halo Top ice cream. they're low calorie, and they're relatively filling. And like, I know I'm going to do something shitty. So I could still eat 2 of those for like 700 calories, which is more than, it's way better for me than the fuck up I'm going to have if I order cookies to the house. Right? So I'm just trying to minimize damage on what I choose to smash. Next set of questions. Linda Keach, 9297. Looking for love. I'm assuming you're not looking for it for me, but you'd like advice. So let me give some honest advice for trying to find relationships. 1, figure out who the fuck you are. Figure out what you're about, what's important to you, what are your lines in the sand that you don't cross, and what are the things that matter to you that you are unwilling to bend on. Know this shit before you get in. Also be aware that those things change over time. But know who you are. And don't come into a relationship and just do that thing where you fucking morph into the other person. So many people do that because they think it makes the other person comfortable. And what it ends up doing is leaving one of those people really unfulfilled because they've just created this shell of a character that fits in with the other, let's say, more dominant personality in the relationship. You know, I've always just wanted to, I don't want a copy of yourself to hang out with. Like, I want someone else who's equally driven and, you know, motivated and smart and has their own interests and hobbies and can operate completely independently without me as I can without them. And then as we come together, it really becomes this kind of 1 + 1 = 3 scenario. So I look at getting into a relationships a lot of the same way as I look at business type shit. Is just like, how are you bringing something to the table that's valuable? Like, be a fucking valuable person and people will seek you out. That's what I'd recommend, is be fucking more awesome and someone will be interested. If that's even fucking what you want. I don't understand. Looking for love. Love's a whole nother fucking thing. You just get that temporary love, if you know what I'm saying. Zach Lefevre, fellow St. Louisian here. Is that what we're fucking calling St. Louisian? Stupid. What are some of your favorite gyms in the area? Mine, 9 for 9 over in Lebanon. I also like Output has been a really nice gym, but there's a lot going on there with like baseball training and kids and shit. And then the Lab in near where we live, also a really great gym. I prefer training on my equipment. I like training on the road, but like for a day-to-day training environment, I like training by myself. And I like training, like, okay, I feel like training, and then I go train. Like I don't really plan it out well. I'm not so diehard about it as I once was. Like, I did that for a really long time, and so I don't want to be that restricted and that focused on my training when I don't have the goal that I'm chasing that I once was. So I'm letting training be something that's a little bit more fluid in how I feel, so that it is helping me get better at the things I want to get better at. So those are my favorite gyms in St. Louis, as I kind of answered that question, I guess. Brendan Whalen. Tips on how to balance working a regular job and pursuing other options with more interest. Honest answer, sleep less. That's what you do. You figure out how to maximize getting as much done in the 24 hours that you have available, the same as every other fucking person who's ever lived has available. That's how you do it. You sleep less. You fucking work more. You figure out how to be more efficient at the things that you do. So things that took 6 hours now take 3. You get better at it. You figure out an exit strategy from the regular job toward what you want to do. Also, it doesn't have to become a fucking job. Like, things can stay a hobby and things can stay a passion without them needing to take over your life. And nor, if you let them take over your life, are you guaranteed for it to be something that can pay your bills. These are very different things, and a lot of other stuff has to factor in. A lot of it's luck. A lot of it's the right place at the right time. And then, it's also one thing to have a moment in the sun, but it's another to have something that's continued to do business for years. And that's, figure out really what you're trying to build, right? Like, do you want something long term? And if so, like, slowly build it and let it organically grow. Like, don't try to get crazy. Balance. I'm not the fucking guy to ask about balance. Crazy Kyle. 3006. 3006. Any resources for scraping? Fucking spelling. I think you got it right. How often for injured area? Lubes, angles? I think you can scrape about as often as you want. It depends on how rough you're getting in there. Like, look, if the skin is topically sore from the work that you did previously, probably give it a little bit. I've sold some scrapers in the past. I don't currently have any available, but check out Leopard Claw and Leopard Paw, both from Subtle Leopard Mobility Wad, are both really good scraping tools. There's a lot of them. You can get a bunch of plastic scraping tools off of Amazon that are great for myofascial release. It's pretty hard to fuck up. I mean, in general, if it feels bad, stop. That's what I would do. And as far as lubes, honestly, man, like CBD coconut oil or something like that, I find to be really, really good. Some guy named Chris. Any plans to travel to New Zealand? Not yet. Would love to go. So that's as far as plans to go to New Zealand equal. Danny, 10. D4NNY 10. How do you keep your ass from getting sore on a bike seat? Miles. So there's two big components to this. One is finding a seat that fits you. And I don't mean some big cushioned up fucking mess that your mom wants to ride around the neighborhood on some cruiser bike. This is the opposite of what comfortable is going to be long term if you're really trying to ride. If you're going to sit on a bike and go fucking pedal for 30 minutes and just cruise, ride whatever the fuck you want. But if you want to get a bike seat that's going to have some performance to it, it'll be pretty small. I ride a pretty minimal seat. I've liked minimal seats. That's what the pros look, and it looks cool. So I ride those. Get a good pair of bib or cycling shorts that have a built-in chamois or this like built-in pad to the inside of them, and that goes a long way. It's kind of shaped like a bike seat. Makes you feel a little bit like you're wearing a diaper, but it is a fucking game changer and will totally help how your butt feels. Now, if you're getting sore from a bunch of miles, which I'm doubting, maybe that's just pricking me, but I doubt it. I doubt it, fucking Danny. I bet you're not riding that much. I bet you're new to this. You're probably not knocking out like 200 miles a week. You wouldn't have saddle questions for me. But if you do, they also sell chamois butter. So it's like a cream, if you want, that you can put on your bottom bits to keep them from chafing and getting a sore. So those are your options. Bibs are great. I would recommend getting bibs. You want some advice? Kyle Munson for butt stuff. A lot of spit, whole fist. That's the answer. Just fucking plow her in there, bud. Dun, dun. From Gormy. What's up, man? Any thoughts on best way to promote a podcast? I don't fucking know, clearly. To help your podcast grow. So I'm starting to play around with trying to promote it. I don't know how well it's going to work, but in the past, it's really just been keep putting out content and keep sharing and try to get your people that are already following you to watch. And if they're following you, give them an incentive to share. Try to get that growth organically to people that are already listening to your show. Or more importantly, people that are already listening to the content that you provide, whether that's my YouTube content or that's my Instagram, kind of a built-in audience. And so, I mean, shit, of the followers I have on Instagram, I get about half that many downloads. And so, I mean, there's a fall off because some people want some things. And it's no different than with my YouTube audience is not always the same as my Instagram audience. So, just keep putting quality content out there and keep giving people a reason to listen to it. You have to keep promoting it. That's the big one. Is through your story with a link to swipe up, and then, man, give people incentive to share. Like, figure out some giveaways, figure out some money to spend. I mean, all that's advertising dollars. And if you want to build a podcast that's going to equal money for you, you also have to be willing to spend money to do the same. SJ Hart SMJ, most popular question of the day. Well, not even popular, but important. The joggers, are they unisex fit? They are. They're super great. They're the best joggers you've ever owned. You should just probably order 10 pair and then live in them constantly, perhaps make them into some weird upper body garment. Nick and Tolik. How do you exercise patience? Time doesn't stop versus I gotta do it all at once. I don't do patience well at all. I don't do hurry up and wait well. I don't do waiting on someone else to finish a thing before I get to do a thing. These are not strong suits for me. So through the coronavirus thing, that's been challenging. Plus, getting the house built, that's challenging as there's things that I can't do until someone else does their job. And you're on their schedule. This is not my favorite. This is one of those reasons I don't particularly like fucking airports unless it's absolutely mandatory. And I do feel like I have to do it all at once. Like even with the house, I know that we have some outdoor projects for the house, like the backyard and fence. I'm already trying to figure out how do we get the ball rolling on that. And it doesn't have to be done right now. There's a difference in that feeling of making the most of today and not being lazy. And you don't have to be an asshole about every second either. It's just about not letting the fucking years disappear and the weeks turn to months, man. Some patience is definitely valuable, and you want to be able to utilize it. I'm trying to get better at it. It's not a strong suit. Tony Trapp, juggling business with training. Well, I would say put priority on the one of those two things that pays your bills, and treat the other accordingly. What you don't want to do is put so much fucking emphasis on the hobby, which maybe training is, that you lose your job, because then you don't really get to train because it gets expensive. And it depends on what business is. Mine works pretty well. Training and everything is kind of all built into the lifestyle with HVIII brand that we do. So, being active and being fit, that's all kind of part of what I do for a living. And that's definitely part of the message I'm trying to share. So, just like normal job and training, you figure out what works and figure out which one of those two things is more important to you and lean that way. Just don't get caught up in the idea that training becomes a job if you try really hard at it. That's not how it works. You have to find a reason that people would actually want to pay you to do those things. And that's a whole nother conversation. I recorded a long time ago, a how to get sponsored podcast, or what that means to me as far as someone who is sponsored by a handful of people and one that sponsors other athletes. So maybe that helps you out, Tony. But advice on juggling those two, figure out which one's more important and make sure that one stays the priority. J Curry 89, if you could be a fruit, what kind of fruit would you be? Probably banana. They're dick shaped. Plus I'm wearing a yellow shirt. We're going to go with banana. The Heather Michelle, more just a question of total curiosity. Are you going to make the home gym in the basement? No. Our new basement is only about 6'2", so it's about here, and not so much tall enough. I think we'll have a few things down there, more like recovery. So we'll probably end up having a hip circle, and I'll probably put a cold tub. All my bike training stuff that I've been doing, that's all going to live in the basement. I will set up my Zwift setup and my trainer and bikes and toolboxes and all of my adventure gear, or all of our adventure gear shit will be down there, organized and kind of ready to go. So it's kind of nice to move that out of my office as well. But yeah, not enough for the basement. Plus we've got two gyms. I've got a gym, and then we've got another gym really close to the house that we train at. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm not going to answer another weight loss question because the same fucking answer. I'm also not interested in growing my Instagram. But speaking of things, in the basement, you know what I'll definitely have down there is that hip circle. And why? Because it's fucking awesome. So hip circle, slingshot, knee sleeves, all these amazing things. Mark Bell slingshot. I've been using these products and they've been my favorite. Today when I went for this 7.5 mile ruck, it's the first time I went and knocked it out. So a little over 1,000 calories, 2 hours, 7.5 miles with a 25 pound pack. I'm wearing my slingshot sleeves, man. I'm not wearing like the strong sleeves, but like the original neoprene sleeves. They're fucking great. They help my knee a ton. So check those guys out. Save some money. Use code UMSO at markbellslingshot.com and save 15%. Fuck, that's 3 times what I almost said. Basically, all your money stays in your pocket and you get things. Back to some questions. Maddie Howie, quality of life training. What does that look like in your opinion? You know, it's kind of funny because I'm working with a company, Train Heroic, who, you know, has a great app and a great setup on their device and their platform for some team training. And that's really the direction I want to go with stuff is myself and Derek Woodski have been talking about it. And we really want to build a training program for essentially for us, like kind of this beat up ex-athlete who still wants to be able to push hard in the gym, but also be fit enough to go and do things and kind of just build that style training into the program that, you know, essentially anything that you would like to do competition wise, you know, within fucking reason, you're 6 weeks away from. Like I want you lifting strong enough, and I want you with enough endurance from HIIT training and some long-term stuff that, oh shit, there's a marathon, there's a trail run, there's a 5K, there's any of these things, you know, 6 to 10 weeks, you can kind of shift gear to more sport specific and be fit enough to go do it. So we're working on that, and it's kind of like, you know, my Destroyer program, but a little bit lighter version of it, as, you know, we want some more real activity worked in. That's what I think. I think quality of life training is train for something. Train for something that's going to improve life experience. It gives you a new goal, new challenge, a new direction, a new target to hit. Don't get caught up in training for the sake of training. I mean, it's great and all, but you're training to do a thing, right? Like you train so that you're good at a thing when it comes time to actually use it. That's why it's called training and not just performing. Is that right? I don't understand. That's maybe not, doesn't work so good. OG Bird. If you could only recommend one drug, mushroom, DMT, ayahuasca, etc., which one and why? You know, this is a pretty good one I'm going to wrap up on. So, for me and psychedelics, I do think they're valuable, and I do think that they're important. I do think they've made a really big shift in my mindset, how I handle things. As you guys have all heard other episodes, like with our ayahuasca stuff and other things we've done. DMT's fun. I haven't gotten any experiences with DMT that I would say have been changing or super in depth, but I also think that's maybe because I haven't broken through, as they call it. So still tooling around with that drug. Mushrooms, I like a lot. Mushrooms are probably my all-time favorite. They're very easy for me to take. I enjoy the way I feel. I like the perspective shift I get. And that's really what I'm looking for. It's not so much I'm trying to party, per se, even though that there's nothing wrong with drugs being fun. As long as you don't let them start driving the boat and making decisions in your day-to-day life. And that goes with anything. That's food, that's sex, that's porn, that's shopping, that's any other addictions anyone can have. So, you know, let's say that you're not in that situation and you're looking for some change mentally and some growth, and this is a route that you feel called to. Ayahuasca is great too, but it's a bit more involved. That's a matter of finding, you know, proper shaman, people like that. Mushrooms are relatively trustworthy and relatively easy to find. If the first time you were going to do ayahuasca, I do highly recommend going and doing it with someone that can kind of act as a Sherpa and have proper shaman that are trained and know what they're doing. That's kind of your own thing to do research on before you step off that cliff. Mushrooms, I think mushrooms are relatively hard to fuck up as long as you're ready for what that's going to be. And the big thing there, and a big thing with all of psychedelics, is surrendering. It's letting go and letting it go where it wants to go and work its way through you instead of holding on to something so tight because it's going to win. So hopefully that helps you a little bit with that concept and where that goes. So that's it. That's the episode. We're going to wrap there, and I want to thank everybody for listening. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know down below. Let me know what questions you got. Questions here I will answer next week on the episode. So spread hate, always party. Check out our sponsors. Habit Coffee, Hate Brand Goods, Hybrid Performance Method, Powerdot, Eat Right Foods, Mind Bullet, and Slingshot. Umso will save you money at every single one of those places. And don't forget, right now, Habit Coffee is doing a deal with Hate Brand Goods. Any order of Hate Brand Goods automatically gets a chance to win 3 months of coffee from Habit. And one lucky winner in May is going to get a full year supply. Also, head over to Your New Habit is our coffee website and set up a subscription. You'll save automatically on getting coffee delivered to your house. The coffee is fucking delicious. I wish I could make you smell it from here, but I can't. Really, really stoked on the coffee company kind of getting its wheels back under it. So head over there, check out Habit Coffee Company, order yourself some delicious bean juice, and treat yourself. Thank you guys for listening. Spread hate.